Welcome back to our channel where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change and dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today we are going to take you on a numismatic journey like never before as we explore the incredible story and skyrocketing value of the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a seemingly ordinary coin that could be worth as much as $83,281 today. Yes, you heard that right, one single penny that most people overlook could be hiding a fortune in plain sight. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end, because you might just discover that you have one of these valuable coins sitting in a jar on your dresser or buried in a drawer somewhere. Let's begin by going back to the year 1980, a significant time in American history. The United States was facing economic challenges, inflation was high, the country was adjusting to global changes, and technology was starting to accelerate. During this year, the United States Mint continued producing the Lincoln 1-cent penny, which had become a symbol of American currency ever since its first appearance in 1909. To honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin featured the famous right-facing profile of Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB are famously found on the original 1909 version and would later become a subject of controversy and collector fascination. In 1980, the Lincoln penny was still being struck primarily using a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was standard until 1982, when the Mint made a major transition to a primarily zinc composition due to rising copper prices. Now, the 1980 pennies were minted in large numbers in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, the real attention comes when we focus on the coins minted in Philadelphia, because in that year the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, which is the critical detail that sets these coins apart from others. You see, most coins struck at the Denver Mint have a small D mint mark under the year, while those from San Francisco often bear an S mint mark, but Philadelphia traditionally did not use any mint mark at all until 1980, when they began introducing it on certain denominations like the Susan B. Anthony dollar, but not yet on the penny. This is where it gets interesting, because while the lack of a mint mark may not sound like a big deal to an average person, to collectors and experts in the numismatic community, it makes the 1980 no-mint mark penny especially intriguing, especially if the coin features certain rare errors or is in an exceptionally high grade of preservation. Now let's talk about what makes the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth an astronomical $83,281 today, and it all comes down to four critical factors: rarity, condition, demand, and error. Characteristics. First, let's address rarity. While the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies in 1980, only a few survived the decades in near perfect condition, known as mint state or MS condition. These are the coins that were never circulated, never touched by human hands, and preserved in airtight conditions, free of scratches, dents, or discoloration. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC use a 70-point scale to evaluate coins, and a coin graded MS67, MS68, or even MS69 is considered exceptionally rare and highly desirable. Now combine that pristine condition with the right kind of mint error, and you have a recipe for a coin worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. Some of the rare errors found on the 1980 no-mint mark penny include double die obverse, where the image of Lincoln and the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear to be doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. There are also off-center strikes, broad strikes, and clipped planchets, all of which increase the coin's value dramatically in the eyes of collectors. Let's not forget demand. The Lincoln cent has one of the largest collector bases in the world, and there is a constant and growing demand for unique, rare, and high-quality specimens from every year, but especially from transitional periods like the early 1980s, when major changes in composition and minting practices were taking place. This sustained demand drives prices ever higher when rare coins surface at auction. Now you may be wondering how exactly one of these pennies reached the staggering value of $83,281. Well, a few years ago, a coin graded MS68 red, meaning the coin had a full red luster without blemishes and retained its original shine, was sold at auction for this exact price. The buyer, a private collector, recognized the historical significance and rarity of the coin and was willing to pay a record price to acquire it. Since then, the coin has become legendary in coin collecting circles, and its value continues to increase as fewer and fewer high-grade specimens are found. It's important to understand that not every 1980 no-mint mark penny is going to be worth a fortune, but that doesn't mean you should ignore them. If you have one in your possession, check its condition, look for doubling errors, and if it appears to be in excellent shape, consider getting it professionally graded. Grading your coin can unlock its true market potential, and who knows, you might just be holding a 5-cent piece that is now worth enough to buy a house. And here's the fun part: treasure hunting for coins like the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is something anyone can do. All it takes is a little knowledge, a keen eye, and some patience. Go through your old coin jars, visit flea markets, ask your relatives about old coin collections, or even ask for pennies as change. When shopping, you never know what you might stumble upon, and the thrill of the hunt is just as rewarding as the discovery itself. So whether you are a seasoned coin collector or a curious beginner, always pay close attention to your pennies, because that small piece of copper might just hold the key to an $83,000 payday. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare Lincoln cents, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on amazing stories just like this one. And if you think you have a rare coin, feel free to share your story in the comments below. We love hearing from fellow collectors and enthusiasts. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, sometimes the greatest treasures are found in the smallest places. Welcome back to our channel, everyone, and if you love rare coins, valuable coins, and United States coin history, then you are in the right place, because today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and appraisers around the world due to its unexpected value, history, and its jaw-dropping market worth that recently reached $70,900. Now let us begin our journey back to the year 1973, a time of political change, economic turbulence, and social transformation across the United States. President Richard Nixon was serving his second term. The Vietnam War was nearing its end, and the country was shifting rapidly in every direction. And amid all this, a small copper coin made its quiet appearance, a penny that no one could have predicted would become one of the most hunted treasures in American numismatics. The 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as was the tradition back then, since Philadelphia did not typically use a mint mark on its coins. This is not a mint error, but it is still highly significant for a number of historical and numismatic reasons. First of all, let us talk about the design, which features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, a design originally created by Victor David Brenner way back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design became the longest-running design on any United States coin, and it remains a symbol of stability, integrity, and legacy. Now you might be wondering what makes the 1973 penny without a mint mark so valuable. If it was produced in high numbers at the Philadelphia Mint, the answer lies in the quality, condition, rarity of perfect strikes, and the fact that most people did not save their pennies from that era because they were so common. That means the few examples that survived in pristine, uncirculated, or mint state condition are extremely rare today, and collectors are willing to pay massive premiums to own one of these historical gems. In particular, coins that are graded at the highest levels by professional coin grading services such as PCGS or NGC with grades of MS67 or higher are incredibly difficult to come by. A recent example of a 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny graded MS67 red sold at auction for an astonishing $70,900 due to its flawless surface, full red color, and historical value. That sale stunned the coin collecting world and made headlines among numismatists and treasure hunters alike. But why such a high price for a 1-cent coin? The answer lies in the principle of rarity, demand, and condition combined. The 1973 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, and it weighed 3.11 grams, which was standard for that era. However, over the decades, most of these coins went into circulation and were heavily used, worn down, damaged, or lost. Only a few survived in pristine, untouched condition, and those are the ones that make their way into auctions and high-value collections. It is also important to mention that some special errors from the 1973 penny have been discovered, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets, and those error coins can fetch thousands of dollars as well, depending on the type, severity, and clarity of the error. Every small detail matters when determining the value of a coin, especially one from such A historically significant period. Now let us talk about market trends and collector interest. The value of Lincoln cents has been rising steadily over the last 2 decades, especially for early years and mint condition examples. The 1973 penny has become one of the standout pieces from the modern Lincoln cent era, and its upward momentum in auction prices proves that rare coins are not just collectibles but also long-term investments that can grow exponentially in value over time. Coin dealers, collectors, and investors around the world are constantly searching for these high-grade 1973 no-mint mark pennies, hoping to find one in old collections, piggy banks, or inherited jars of loose change. The excitement surrounding these coins has created a wave of interest in searching old rolls of pennies from banks, flea markets, and estate sales, hoping to uncover a forgotten gem worth tens of thousands of dollars. So how do you know if your 1973 penny is worth money? First, examine it under good lighting. Look for a strong, sharp strike, full details, no visible wear, and a brilliant red luster. If you think your coin might be in excellent condition, it is highly recommended to send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, because having a professionally graded coin dramatically increases its value and authenticity. Even if your penny is not in perfect condition, it could still be worth more than face value, especially if it has unique errors, unusual toning, or an attractive appearance. Coins in circulated condition might sell for a few dollars, but uncirculated examples can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on grade and rarity. To wrap up this amazing journey into the world of the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, we can confidently say that this small copper coin is a giant in the world of collectibles, with a history tied to one of the most influential American presidents, a design that has stood the test of time, and an incredible market value that reaches as high as $70,900. It is no surprise that collectors dream of finding one of these coins in their possession. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another exciting story from the world of numismatics. Also, let us know in the comments if you have ever come across a 1973 penny and what condition it is in, because your coin could be worth a small fortune. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy collecting and best of luck in your search for the next hidden treasure that could change your life forever. Hello, and welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the world of rare coins, forgotten treasures, and astonishing coin values that might just be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change. Today we bring you an incredible story about one of the most legendary and sought-after coins in American numismatic history, the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. This simple copper piece, once worth only a single cent, has skyrocketed in value and now commands a jaw-dropping market price of $99,845. Yes, you heard that right, so sit back and let's explore every detail of this astonishing coin, its rich history, the reasons for its rarity, and what makes it worth a small fortune in today's collector market. Let's begin with the background of this fascinating coin. The 1972 Lincoln penny is part of a long-running series first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was the first circulating United States coin to feature a real historical person, and it marked a major change in American coin design, replacing the Indian head cent that had circulated since the mid-1800s. The obverse, or front, of the coin features the famous bust of President Lincoln sculpted by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse, until 1958, showed 2 wheat stalks, commonly known as wheat ears, that symbolized national prosperity. However, from 1959 onward, the design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now, when we talk specifically about the 1972 no-mint mark penny, it is crucial to understand that during that time, coins minted in Philadelphia did not bear any mint mark, unlike their counterparts from Denver, which bore a small letter D, or from San Francisco, which bore an S. The 1972 no-mint mark penny therefore originated from the Philadelphia Mint, and while most of these pennies were produced in large quantities, there is a very specific and rare variety of the 1972 no-mint mark coin that has made headlines across the numismatic world, and that is the 1972 double-die obverse penny. This coin is not just any ordinary penny. What makes it extremely valuable and rare is a major minting error during production known as a double-die error. Essentially, during the creation of the coin die, the hub used to imprint the design onto the die shifted slightly between impressions, which led to a doubled image on the coin itself. This error most visibly affects the Inscriptions such as the word liberty, the motto I in God we trust, and the date 1972 itself, which all show clear doubling that can be seen even with the naked eye or a simple magnifying glass. Collectors and experts classify the 1972 doubled die as one of the most dramatic and clear doubled dies ever discovered, and it has become a holy grail for coin hunters across America. The U.S. Mint did eventually catch the error, but not before thousands of these coins had already entered circulation. It is estimated that only around 20,000 to 25,000 of these error coins were ever released into the public domain, and fewer than 10,000 remain in collectible condition today. Even fewer exist in pristine mint state grades, making them incredibly valuable and highly desirable. Now let's talk about the value of this incredible coin. In average circulated condition, these coins can still bring in hundreds of dollars depending on the strength of the doubling and the condition of the surfaces. However, when found in higher grades such as mint state 65 or higher, especially those certified by leading grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, the value of this coin soars into the tens of thousands. And in a recent auction, one pristine specimen of the 1972 no mint mark doubled die penny sold for a staggering $99,845, setting a new benchmark and shocking the numismatic world. Why is this coin worth so much? The answer lies in the perfect storm of rarity, historical importance, visual appeal, and collector demand. First, the doubling on this coin is among the most extreme and noticeable ever recorded, making it stand out immediately even to novice collectors. Second, because it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark and entered circulation before the error was detected, its initial discovery added an element of mystery and surprise. Third, due to the coin's age and the fact that copper cents are no longer produced with the same purity, these pennies have grown more valuable as copper prices increase. And lastly, serious collectors who wish to complete their Lincoln cent series or error coin collection are often willing to pay a premium for examples in exceptional condition. So what should you do if you believe you have a 1972 penny with no mint mark in your possession? The first thing is to closely examine the coin under good lighting or a magnifier. Look at the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana, God we trust, and the year 1972. If you see clear doubling, it could be the rare variety, but be careful because there are many counterfeits and minor varieties that are not nearly as valuable. So we strongly recommend getting the coin authenticated and graded by a professional service such as the Professional Coin Grading Service or the Numismatic Guarantee Company. If verified as a true doubled die, obverse and mint condition, your humble penny could be worth a life-changing amount of money. It is stories like these that remind us that treasure can still be found in the most ordinary of places: a jar of change, a coin roll from the bank, or an old drawer in a family home. The 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a piece of history, an example of how mistakes at the U.S. Mint can turn into golden opportunities for collectors, and a shining reminder that even a cent can be worth a fortune. So next time you come across a 1972 penny, take a closer look. You just might be holding one of the most valuable and legendary coins in American history, currently valued at $99,845 and climbing. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing discoveries from the world of rare coins and numismatics. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, you might just be the next person to uncover a rare fortune hiding in plain sight. Welcome back to another exciting and jaw-dropping episode where we dive deep into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures that may be sitting right in your pocket change or old coin jars at home. And today we uncover the astonishing story behind the 1968 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a coin that was never meant to shine so bright but now is worth a staggering $39,786 in the current market and climbing even higher in demand and value. The year is 1968, and the world is in the middle of tremendous change, with America recovering from the social unrest of the 60s and dealing with political transformation, cultural evolution, and economic shifts. And in the midst of all this, one tiny copper coin minted at the Denver Mint would go on to become one of the most coveted and talked about pennies in American numismatic history, and that coin is none other than the 1968 D Lincoln cent. To understand its true value, we must first go back to the origins of the Lincoln penny, which made its debut in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It marked the first time a real person appeared on a circulating American coin, and it was crafted with incredible detail, especially the wheat ears on the reverse that later gave way in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial design, which symbolized unity and strength across a divided nation. Now fast forward to 1968, and the United States Mint was busy trying to keep up with the massive demand for circulating coinage following the coin shortage of the early 60s, and production was happening in multiple mint locations including Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Denver, and the Denver Mint struck an enormous number of Lincoln cents that year with over 2.8 billion coins released into circulation, and on the surface there is nothing extraordinary about them, or so it seemed, but the magic of the 1968 Lincoln penny lies in its details and condition, because among these billions a handful of coins were struck with remarkably strong dies, perfect alignment, and preserved in pristine uncirculated condition, making them ultra rare and incredibly valuable, and collectors all over the country have been hunting for these nearly flawless examples ever since. What makes a 1968 Lincoln cent worth tens of thousands of dollars is a combination of historical context, exceptional condition, and minting anomalies, and coins graded as MS-67 red or higher are the ones that command top dollar at auctions and private sales, and the red designation refers to the original bright copper color, which is extremely difficult to preserve over decades, as most coins naturally turn brown over time due to oxidation and exposure to elements. So imagine finding a coin that was minted in 1968, over 55 years ago, and it still shines with its original copper red brilliance and carries no scratches, no handling marks, no discoloration, and is graded by a top authority like PCGS or NGC at a gem mint state level, and that is precisely what has happened recently when a flawless 1968 Lincoln penny graded MS-67 red sold for an eye-popping $39,786 to a collector who understood the extreme rarity and investment value of such a piece. But that is not the only factor that makes these coins valuable, because some rare varieties and minting errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and die clashes have also been reported among 1968 cents, and though they are rare when found in high grade, they can be worth hundreds, or even thousands, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error, and of course the demand from collectors and dealers. Coin collectors know that the Lincoln cent series is one of the most collected coin types in the world, and that means demand is always high, and when a coin like the 1968 penny surfaces in top condition or with a verified error, the bidding wars begin and prices soar to unbelievable heights. So what can you do if you think you may have a valuable 1968 penny in your collection or pocket change? Well, the first step is to handle it carefully and avoid touching it with bare fingers, and always place it on a soft surface to prevent scratches, and next inspect the coin for its color, luster, and any visible errors, and if it still has that bright original coppery red tone and looks like it was barely handled, then it might be worth a professional grading, and that is where services like PCGS or NGC come in, because they authenticate and grade your coin, giving it an official value and placing it in a protective holder that ensures its condition stays perfect for future resale or auction. Remember that coin values are not just about age, but also rarity, demand, and condition, and even a coin from a high mintage year like 1968 can become incredibly valuable if it survives in near flawless state or features a unique and desirable error, and that is what makes the 1968 Lincoln cent such an astonishing piece of American coinage history, and proof that big value can come from even the smallest of places. So the next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look, because hidden within your change could be a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. And just like the 1968 Lincoln penny, you might be holding on to a true American treasure. Thank you for watching, and if you love learning about rare coins, valuable finds, and fascinating history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another incredible story from the world of numismatics and coin collecting. Until next time, keep searching, and you just might strike copper gold. Welcome back to another thrilling episode where we uncover the hidden treasures lying quietly in your pocket change. Today we are diving deep into the mysterious and highly valuable 1964 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a coin that might look ordinary at first glance but carries with it a history of power, politics, design, evolution, and now an astonishing market value of $82,776. Let's go back in time to the year 1960 for a significant period in American coinage history. The United States was undergoing major political, social, and economic changes. John F. Kennedy had just been assassinated. The civil rights movement was gaining unstoppable momentum, and the country was at the cusp of the Vietnam War. Yet amid all of this change, one small copper coin was being minted in Denver, Colorado that would eventually become one of the most sought-after pieces among collectors, the 1964 Lincoln penny. To truly understand the worth of this coin, we need to examine its origins. The Lincoln cent had already been in production since 1909. Introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first United States coin to feature a real historical figure on the obverse side. That bold decision by President Theodore Roosevelt and sculptor Victor David Brenner changed the entire future of American coinage forever. By 1964, the design of the penny still remained the same. On the front, it bore the powerful profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words "I in God we trust" arched above his head, the word "Liberty" to his left, and the date 1964 to his right, accompanied by the prominent D mint mark signifying it was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse side was the classic wheat ears design, two stylized stalks of wheat curving around the sides with the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America boldly displayed in the center, and the Latin motto E pluribus unum resting near the top. Now here's where things get even more fascinating. Over 3.8 billion of these pennies were minted in Denver alone in 1964, so the question naturally arises, why is one single 1964 D penny valued today at a staggering $82,776? The answer lies in several compelling factors that every collector and enthusiast should be aware of. First is the condition, or what numismatists call the grade. Most pennies from 1964 have been heavily circulated, used in everyday transactions, scratched, worn, and corroded, but a handful of these coins have been discovered in near mint, or even brilliant uncirculated condition. A coin in mint state with a grade of MS66 or higher from a trusted grading company like PCGS or NGC is incredibly rare, and therefore highly valuable. Second, we have to consider the unique errors and varieties that occurred during the minting process. In 1964, the Denver Mint was under immense pressure to produce coins quickly due to a national coin shortage. As a result, some striking errors slipped through the cracks, including doubled dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and even planchet anomalies. These error coins are extremely collectible and can raise the value of a single penny into the tens of thousands of dollars, especially when verified and authenticated by professional graders. Third is the growing demand among collectors for key date Lincoln cents. Many people today are building full Lincoln penny collections, and the 1964 D is considered a transitional year. It was the final year before the Mint drastically changed its approach to producing pennies. The following year, in 1965, the Mint ceased placing mint marks on coins for several years in an effort to discourage hoarding. This gives the 1964 DA finality a historical weight that makes it even more attractive to collectors. But how exactly does a simple penny reach a market value of over $82,000? Well, in recent years, the coin collecting world has seen a surge in interest from both investors and historical enthusiasts, with online auction platforms booming and rare coin expos becoming more popular than ever. Some high-grade 1964 D pennies, especially those with verified doubling or pristine surfaces, have sold at auction houses and private sales for massive amounts. One such coin in immaculate condition with a doubling error recently fetched the mind-boggling price of $82,776 from a private collector in California who believed the coin would only increase in value over time. Let us not forget the emotional and patriotic value this coin holds for many Americans. The Lincoln penny is not just currency, it is a symbol of unity, liberty, sacrifice, and the enduring legacy of one of the nation's most revered presidents. To own a rare piece of that legacy in its most preserved form is something collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. So what should you do if you suspect you have a 1964 D Lincoln penny that could be worth a fortune? Start by checking the condition. Look closely under a magnifying glass for any unusual markings, doubling, or errors. Observe the shine, luster, and clarity. If the coin appears to be in outstanding condition with no visible signs of wear, then your next step should be to have it professionally graded by a certified numismatic service. If your coin passes that professional inspection, you might be sitting on a coin worth more than some luxury cars or even houses. It could be your ticket to a financial windfall, all from a coin that you might have ignored at the bottom of an old jar or tucked away in a drawer. In conclusion, the 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like just another old coin, but its historical significance, design errors, condition, rarity, and current demand have elevated it into one of the most surprising treasures of modern coin collecting. The current market value of $82,776 is not just a fluke, it is a reflection of everything this humble penny represents. So check your change, look through your old coin collections, and take another look at those 1964 pennies. You never know, you might be holding a copper masterpiece worth a fortune. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video informative, fascinating, or even life-changing, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on rare coins, valuable collectibles, and hidden history waiting to be discovered. See you in the next video, and happy hunting!